Hello, my name is Ryan Crowder, and I am the Program Lead for Strategic Initiatives here at the Geneva Sustainability Center. And I have the pleasure today of introducing you to our Sustainability Accelerator tool, or SAT. The SAT was developed to be a simple, easy-to-use platform, and this tutorial will provide guidance on how to complete the first part of the tool, the maturity assessment. Once we receive the required information to set up an account for your hospital, we'll then ask you to use the link to gscaccelerator.org, as you can see in the top of this browser. gscaccelerator.org will then open this page, which is our login page, which you'll then use to access the tool. On the login page, we'll then ask you to add the email address and the password that you've been provided and click Login. With the login complete, you'll now have access to the tool. On the home page of the tool, you'll find an overview of the Maturity Assessment Framework, which helps us assess your hospital on a sustainability journey. At the bottom, you will find the 3 domains which we use to assess your hospital on sustainability. These are environmental impact, health equity and well-being, and leadership and governance. If you click these, you will then see an overview of those 3 domains, as well as the subdomains that make up each of those domains. When you're ready to begin the maturity assessment, navigate to the top of the page, and on the right-hand side you will see a link to allow you to start the questionnaire. In this particular version, we've already begun the questionnaire, so instead of seeing Start the Questionnaire, you will instead see Continue Questionnaire. We'll go ahead now and continue the questionnaire, which will then load the maturity assessment questionnaire itself. The maturity assessment is made up of 56 discrete questions across all 3 domains mentioned before. Those are environmental impact, health equity, well-being, and leadership and governance. As you answer each of these questions, we'll be addressing subdomains under each of those domains. For example, in this question, the domain is environmental impact, and the subdomain is use of environmental resources. Questions do not have to be answered in order as they appear, and you can navigate between questions either by clicking Previous and Next at the bottom, or by selecting the particular domain you wish to answer at that particular moment. However, in order to complete the maturity assessment and provide you the maturity results dashboards, you do need to complete all 56 questions. Each of the 56 questions within the maturity assessment are formatted in the same way. Let's take a look at this particular question, which falls under the domain Health Equity and Well-being, under the subdomain Organizational Maturity. The question as stated is, does the leadership in your organization have an understanding of the main environmental factors which impact the health of your patient populations, which populations are most vulnerable to environmental change, and how these environmental factors and vulnerabilities could evolve over time due to climate change. Under this question, you will see the 4 different responses that are possible, each representing a different level of maturity for this particular aspect of the subdomain. So for example, this particular question asks us about an organizational maturity, so helping us assess generally how we're doing with health equity and well-being. For this particular question, we have 4 different responses below, each from a novice level up to an expert level of maturity. And what we would ask you to do then is reflect on the question and think about where your organization fits in these descriptions. For example, if your organization has just begun thinking about this particular aspect of sustainability, you may select No, the organization has no or limited understanding of these issues. However, if your organization understands the main environmental factors impacting the health of its patients, then the next answer would be most appropriate. Likewise, up the ladder until you reach expert level, which shows that you've understood all A, B, C factors mentioned in the question, and therefore representing an expert level of sustainability maturity in this particular aspect of sustainability. As mentioned, Each of the 56 questions are structured in the same fashion, from novice to expert level maturity across 4 different answer possibilities. Many hospitals and systems around the world have already used the tool, and a number of learnings have come out of this to help you easily understand and easily complete this particular component of the SAT. The 2 recommendations are that, of course, the maturity assessment does not need to be completed in one sitting. At any time, you can click Save and Preview to ensure that you save all of your answers and can come back to the maturity assessment at a later time to complete. Furthermore, completing the questionnaire does require information from a variety of different departments within your organization. We strongly believe that sustainability is an organization-wide initiative, and we want to make sure that your sustainability assessment is filled out as accurately as possible. If your organization already has a committee, task force, or person leading the sustainability strategy, they would be best placed to coordinate the collaboration for information collection and to complete the questionnaire. The time required to complete the questionnaire can be anywhere from several hours, several days, to a week or 2. So it really isn't a very long process. It just requires some time to make sure that you have the most accurate information possible for each particular question. It's also very important to be as accurate as possible when filling out the questionnaire, because it will help you understand more accurately where you are specifically on your sustainability journey. For any particular question, you may find yourself debating where you are in relation to the answers. So for example, in this particular question, you may feel that your organization understands the main environmental factors impacting the health of your patients. You may also feel that you have identified the populations most vulnerable to these factors, but you don't have a full understanding of this. Perhaps you've just begun this particular aspect of this particular subdomain. What we would recommend is selecting the lower response in any of those instances, which will help you understand more accurately where you exactly are in your journey, and therefore provide you better guidance of what you need to do next. As mentioned, by clicking Save and Preview, you will then get an understanding of where you currently are on your progress. Here you'll get an overview of each of the individual components of the maturity assessment. Each of the 56 questions are listed here, and for questions you haven't answered yet, you will see an error message saying you haven't answered this question yet, which will require you to go back and finish that question. You can also filter the questions on complete and incomplete, and also select the domains to hone in on specific areas where completion is still required. Once you've completed all questions, you can then select Submit when you are sure you have answered everything correctly, and you can move on to our maturity result, which will then be generated from the answers to your questions. An important final note is that the maturity assessment was designed as a once per year activity for your hospital. Therefore, before you press Submit, please make sure you are fully satisfied with each of your responses, as you won't be able to change your responses once you've submitted. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial as we took you through the first component of our Sustainability Accelerator tool, the maturity assessment. Good luck in completing the maturity assessment, and we look forward to seeing your results soon.